Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. In today's video, I'm going to go over some predictions for what items could go limited in the future. So yeah, let's get started. So first off, I'm going to go over the patterns that Roblox has been doing so far for the items that they have chosen, so that we can get a better idea of what they might choose next for limiteds. And I have written down 3 things that I think Roblox has been sort of following in order to actually make items limited. And the first one is that the item that they choose to go limited has to be a part of a series. If you notice that everything they have chosen so far has been actually a part of a series. Sleepy Brown Sloth is part of the Sleepy Sloth series, DIY is part of the DIY series, Hershton Crown series, as well as the others. The next category is a holiday item, so an item that will go limited on that day to represent that holiday. So far, I think the only example we've seen of this is the Friday the 13th top hat going limited on Friday the 13th, but there are more holidays coming up soon. It has only been a month since they started making limiteds. Some more holidays are coming up soon. We do have Canada Day, we do have 4th of July, so those might be days where they also make holiday related items limited as well. Of course, holiday items can go limited on different days as well. As you can see, Sinister is a Halloween item, but it will be limited in May, so holiday items definitely are not restricted to that holiday, but they have a bigger chance to go limited if that holiday is coming up. The last category I put is that the series that the item is in has to have at least 3 different versions of that series. Like the Sleepy Sloth series has 4 items in that series, DIY has many items, Hershton Crown, I think there's 3 or 4 of that one as well. I think the only exception to this was Big Head, because Big Head only has one other one, which is Bigger Head, so I think Big Head would fall under either classic items going limited or very popular items that are going limited, because I think that Roblox would choose something that's very popular or a classic to go limited, even though it might not be a part of a series. And I also want to clarify, because as some of these are not very clear on what the series they are, as you can see the label pin, there's only one kind of label pin like this, so this would fall under Midsummer. It will be limited with these other Midsummer items, so it would fall under the Midsummer kind of theme or series. And another one right over here is that 2 antlers were limited, but this big Silverthorn antlers would fall under the Big Head item series. It would fall under the series of big items made for the Big Head, and this Silverthorn would fall under the antler series. So I know it sounds pretty confusing, but hopefully it does make sense over time. But yeah, based on these categories, let's start with the predictions. And I have 3 sections for these predictions. I have very likely to go limited, I have moderately likely to go limited, and then I have unlikely to go limited. But they all have a chance to go limited, it's just depending on if they want to follow this pattern or not. Now for very likely, I have a lot of different series of items that have yet to have one of their items go limited as of recently, so I think they are going to be good choices for their Roblox coming up next. And the first one right over here is the Guardia series. There are more than 3. It's a popular series, and I could definitely see them choosing one of these soon. If I had to guess, I would assume they would choose one of the off-sale ones, most likely Guardia, Pastel, or Oberon, but I can see them doing any of these. Next up is the Bucket series, and I'm not talking about these regular kind of bucket hats. I'm talking about these bucket hats with like holes with the eyes. There's the Adroit one right over here. There are also these with the horns. There are some off-sale ones, and I'm not sure if the Roblox would consider them 2 different things. I'm just going to list them as the same thing because they're both that similar style. One just has horns, one doesn't. But if they were to choose one limited, I would see them choosing Adroit. They have chosen many on sale items to go limited so far, so I can definitely see them choosing one that's already on sale as well. You have the horned ones, and there are so many great choices. There's the green, purple, this white one, and there's also this blue one right over here, so there's many different choices for those. And next up is the Eyes series, and I'm not talking about these faces, I'm talking about these big eyes that go over the head. There are definitely a couple of these that are off sale that would be great choices to go limited as well. As you can see, some of them right over here with Tiger's Eye, Pink Eye, Platinum, Violet, All Seeing. These are going to be some great choices as well, so I think those are also up as a possibility. Now next up over here, I have Lampshade, and this is kind of a random one because none of them are actually limited yet. They're all unavailable, some of them are classic items, and I definitely think this is a series that has enough hype for them to choose one to go limited. So I think any of these 4 have a good chance to go limited, but I think if they were to choose one, they would probably choose the original to go limited first. Now next up over here, we do have the clockwork items, we do have these shades, and we do have some headphones. They haven't made any of these limited yet, and the DIY clockwork would fall under the DIY series, not this headphones or shade series. So that is a separate thing, so they could choose any of these 4 expensive ones that released in the past, or they could choose the war clock headphones, which are the white ones, which people have been asking for a lot as well. So any of these I can see going limited. They all have a pretty high chance. And I do also see them making the pumpkin series limited, not the Sinister one, but this classic one. There's the classic Roblox pumpkin, there's a Sparkle Time one right over there. There's also the ones with the horns, Doomsticker, Duststicker. There's a lot of these choices, and I think that they have a lot of different potential to go up over time. And right over here we do have the Bat Helm series. There are actually 3 in this series, but one has a different name. The first one, original one, is limited. There's also this Black Iron variant, and there's also this Butterfly variant right over here as well. So any of these in the series could go limited. And we do have this Crown of Warlord series. The original, once again, is the limited one. And we do have this golden one, which is pretty expensive. And we do have this black version as well. So there are 3 in the series once again. So I can see either the gold and black one going limited. There are many different wings on the catalog, and I can definitely see a lot of them going limited. I would say the sparkling ones are off sale. The golden ones could go limited as they are part of the series, and there are many different variants of those. But I would say the most likely ones are these white gold wings. There are 2 other limited variants in this series, so I think that this one has the best opportunity. Another popular series, the Top Hat series, we still haven't seen one of these go limited recently. And I'm not talking about these kind of extravagant ones. I'm talking about these simple ones that people do enjoy. There's this blue one, the Halloween one right over here. We do have the purple one, which is the original, and we do have some other colors. There's pink, there's yellow, and there are also some off sale ones, like this green and blue one that could go limited as well. Next up over here, we do have the Circlet series. There are definitely a couple off sale ones that could go limited. There's the Core Blocks, the Amber, and the 7 Jeweled one, which is a pretty unique variant of it, but they could go limited. The black one is a toy code, so that one will not go limited. But we do have these 3 that have a good chance. Right over here, we do have the Traffic Cone series as well. There's the blue one that could go limited, the original orange one. There's the Festive one as well. Red and purple are toy codes, so those can't go limited. We do have some other choices, and with the recent release of many UGC clones that look pretty similar to these, I'm not sure if Roblox will make these limited, but I think they're pretty good choices. And next up over here, I am thinking about these textured items, and what I mean by textured items is that Roblox tends to use kind of popular textures for many different items. They do have Azurite, there's Silverthorn, Blue Steel. I've already chosen Bombastic for the sword pack over there, so that one is kind of off the table, but we do have some other options like this one and Wanwood, Examwood, and there's many other variants as well. And next up, some other things that could go limited are these clan items. There's Overseer, Red Cliff, Astral Isles, and many different kinds of these kind of items that could go limited as well, so I wouldn't put it past them to make one of these limited. And this one, maybe not as popular as some of the other ones, but we do have Shutter Shades right over here, and they have made some of these limited in the past, not too many. There are definitely a lot of off-sale ones that they could choose from if they did want to make one of these limited. And next up over here, we do the Vlad items, and just like the Sinister, could just make this limited even though it isn't Halloween, and almost all of them are off sale. Only one that's on sale, not limited, is the most recent one. There are other off-sale versions that they could choose from if they really did want to make one of these limited. Next up over here, we do have the TV series, which I think that they have their eye on as well. We do have some on-sale variants, but there are 2 off-sale variants. I think if they were to choose an off-sale one, I think Possessed is more likely. If they were going to choose an on-sale one, I think that they're probably going to choose the Miss TV, but who knows, they're all pretty good choices. And for the next one, I do have a Fedora. There are many different Fedoras that I think could go limited. There are definitely a lot of series of Fedoras that do have the potential to go limited. I think the Snow Leopard series is definitely one that has the highest chance, but there are also different variants, the other ones that could also go limited. That was a quite long section, but I think those are the most likely things to go limited in the future. But now let's get on to moderately likely. And for moderately likely, I do have faces, and these could be any face that are off sale or on sale. They just haven't made one limited yet, so that's why I'm not putting it in the high section, because even though there are some that have been highly requested like Epic Face and the Beast mode that is off sale, I haven't seen them choose one to go limited yet, so I'm not sure if they are up to doing that. But if they do choose to make faces limited eventually, I do see them probably choosing maybe the Swissville one or the other 2 I mentioned before as well. Next up over here, I do have the Red Void Star, and the reason this is in moderately likely and not in highly likely is because it doesn't fit the 3 in a series, as there is only one original one, but I think it's going to be the same as Big Head, as it is a very, very requested item to go limited, so I think it just might go limited just because of that. It is here as a possibility. Next up, I do have the Hatbot right over here that is off sale. It's only moderately likely because this series isn't the most popular, but I think they could just go ahead and make the last one that is not available limited once again, which would be pretty cool to see. Next up over here, I do have the Friendly Fedora, and similarly to the Void Star, it has only one other one, the Sinister version, which is limited right now, so that's why I'm not too sure about it, but I think they could choose it to go limited to make both of them limited and available. Next up, I do have the Fire Crown right over here, which is a fire variant of the Ice Crown, and there are many different Ice Crowns, but there's only one Fire Crown, and this is also a pretty rare and forgotten item, so I'm not sure if they remember this actually exists, so that's why I put it moderately likely, but it's still a possibility. Next up, I do have the Electric Sunas right over here. The Flaming and the Ice ones are limited, but the Electric ones released on a timer, so they might make them limited in the future. Who knows? I'd include it right over here. And another little broad section for this is any series of items, but none of them are actually limited yet. So for example, this Rhodes headphone series, there aren't any of them that are actually limited yet, but I think they do have a chance of making one of them limited in the future. I do see this golden one, which is off sale right now, so you could choose that, but any series that doesn't have any limited yet, but is popular enough to maybe be chosen for going limited, I think that they have a good chance as well. And the last items in this moderate section to go limited is hair. Just hair in general, because once again, just like the faces, they haven't made any of these limited yet, so I'm not sure if they're really thinking about making any hairs limited, but if they do, they have a lot of series to pick from. They have the Shaggy series, they have the Beautiful Hair series, there are some other off-sale hairs, there's some mohawks, so they do have a lot lot of choices for hairs, but once again, like the faces, I don't know if they are actually making any hairs limited. And lastly, we do have the unlikely to go limited, but still not 0% chance, but just unlikely. And I'm just going to start off with event items in general. They have made many event items limited in the past, like these egg hunt items, so I could see them maybe making some of these eggs limited in the future, but I don't know if they're doing that as they haven't had an egg hunt in general, so I'm not sure if they're really up to making any of these eggs limited, but I just want to include event items here because they have done it in the past, and also Festive Volk is all event items, so if they do want to go back to event items, they do have it as a possibility. And the last thing I wanted to include in the unlikely to go limited section is gears. There are obviously a lot of off-sale gears, a lot of cool gears that could do well if they were to go limited, but I think Roblox is trying to stay away from gears. They haven't had one in a couple of years, so I really don't see them making any limited, because if they're trying to stay away from them, I don't really see why they would make one limited and bring some attention to it. So gears unfortunately seem like they are pretty unlikely to go limited, but if they do choose some to go limited, I think that would be a great choice, and I think many people will be excited to see them go limited. So yeah, those are my predictions. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing, and hopefully you might have a better idea of things that might go limited in the future. But for right now, I'm gonna say that the next things that have the highest chance to go limited are things for the next holidays, which are Canada Day and July 4th. So maybe purchase some of those on sale items just in case they choose some of those to go limited. But yeah, that is much of this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.